No one in this world can you trust. Not men, not women, not beasts. This you can trust.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Glory of Golden State Gaming. I'm your host, SwampSwimmer, and with me as always, the pina to my colada, Vespasian. Hey.
Nicely done. Hi, everybody.
So the reason why I chose a pina colada was because I just returned from 10 days in Hawaii with my wife and my sister-in-law and her husband, and it was magical. Hawaii's magical, with lacking anything else to talk to right now, I just want to give my general recommendations for Hawaii, if that's cool.
Yeah.
We went to Waikiki. We were on Oahu.
Waikiki.
We went to Waikiki, Waikiki's a little crazy. It's like Las Vegas in Hawaii. It's bars and restaurants, big hotels, and we stayed just outside of Waikiki at a place called Kaimana Beach, at a place called Kaimana Hotel and Resort, or Kaimana Beach Hotel. Super nice, right on the water. Within 15-minute walking distance to Waikiki, so if you wanted to go downtown to all the restaurants and hustle and bustle, you could. Privately owned, super cool hotel, right on the water. Reasonable rates for Hawaii on the water. I just wanted to give you my general recommendation to go to Kaimana Beach Hotel in Waikiki.
There.
We also went to Maui, and we splurged and spent too much money on a beach resort, like a big resort. But it wasn't worth it. It really wasn't. I mean, it was just the hotel was under construction, so it was really less than half full, and I'm not a big resort kind of guy. I want to go out and explore a little bit. Anyway, the weather was wonderful. We went golfing twice. Go to Hawaii, people, if you can afford it. It's a wonderful place. That's all I got. Have you been to Hawaii?
I have, yeah, actually, a few times. We went there on our honeymoon, actually, and we did Maui as well. But we had, my wife and I were consultants at the time, so we had all of the miles and hotel points and everything like that, so we were able to do the whole thing just on points, which was pretty cool. But yeah, no, my wife grew up going to Maui for their family summer vacation was in Maui, and so she's very married to that particular island. I haven't been to any of the others, but I mean, I've always enjoyed our trips there, so I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
it's a beautiful place nonetheless, just fantastic weather. Yeah, Maui was definitely more chill and more big resorty kind of place, and then Oahu with Waikiki and Honolulu is more big city, more kind of crazy nightlife. And then the other one, they were saying the other island was much more low key, kind of natural, go hiking, be in nature kind of place.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still making that transition back to real life after vacation, and it's a hard one, folks. It's a hard one, but. Let's get to the battle report. We are on to let's see here. Where are we on to? We're on to the round 5 for me of Silicon Hammer 2022, San Jose, California. I did really well at the beginning of the tournament. I got 20, then a 2, and then a 7. So I'm kind of medium in the mix right now, and I get paired into. Oh, Ben from Seattle. You played him once already this tournament, and I get to play him. Freaking dwarves. Oh.
Man.
So
2 rounds of dwarf. That's brutal. That'll ruin anybody's tournament.
Encircle Breakthrough. Yeah. If you're interested in my list, please click the link right above my head. It will take you directly to our round 1 video where we go over my list in a little more detail. But let's go over his list. We already went over this actually with your battle report, but he's got the Big King on foot, Actually, not the big kin. He's not the big badass guy. He's just tough. He's got the Dragon Seeker, which is the killing guy. He's got the Thane BSB, double Aether Icon, Duna Rune of Iron, and then the obligatory Rune of Light, 2 runes of lightning, Rune of Returning, Holdstone. He's got the big block of 29 warriors, 3x10 marksmen, 1 unit with handguns, 2 units with crossbows, a big block of Kingsguard, 10 Seekers with the skirmish formation, 17 Forge Wardens, 2 helicopters, 3 ballistas, and a catapult rune crafted. All the field artillery rune crafted. So I think this is not the best matchup for me, but it's not a horrible matchup. I think I really have to worry about the Dragon Seeker, because that's, you know, it's a Dragon Seeker, Rune of Smashing and Rune of Quickening, and Monster Seeker, so it's gonna just whip right through my my characters.
Quickening means he's 8, 9 on the charge, I think.
Yeah, something super high.
How does that pair up against your? Do you have the Swiftness guy or no?
No, I don't have the Potion of Swiftness, but I have. I think even with my Blackwing Totem up on my Minotaur BSB, it's still not gonna go before him.
Yeah. Okay.
So pretty scary.
Yeah.
Pretty scary. Let's go into deployment here. Let's see who had to go first. So he dropped everything. No, I dropped everything to go first. He chose sides. He chose the big center, and I had the big flanks because like my deployment's a little strange because of that. On the far left, just outside the picture, I've got my Centaur BSB with my Centaur unit. I've got a Wildhorn block, the Gargoyles in front of him, a Giant next to them, another Wildhorn block, my Minotaur block with my Minotaur Warlord, Gargoyles, another Giant behind the hill, and my other Centaurs in the far right. He has got, if I can remember this correctly, he's got... On the far left, he's got one of his marksman unit. This is the Seekers with his Dragon Seeker in it. He's got the Copter, a Ballista behind them, another unit of his marksman. This is his big block with all of his characters in it, and the warriors with all of his characters. The Catapult behind them, another unit of shooty guys. I think these are the handgunners, I'm pretty sure. Another Ballista behind them, the Kingsguard, another shooty unit behind them. Is that? No, I'm missing. I can't remember what one of these units is. And then in front of them is the Forge Wardens. That's what I'm trying to think. The unit no one ever uses. Behind them, a Ballista and a Copter. So I dropped first. It was a bit of an odd. Yeah, I dropped first, but it was a bit of the odd deployment because he had given me the pushed out on the sides with these 2 big impassable pieces. So it's pretty, It was hard, but I was thinking if I focus on the left, I got the hill to cover me, and then I push. That's what I was thinking. And also to the end of the tournament, so my tactics are a little bit downhill at this point. I was just going for gold. Let's see if I can get to him and kill him. We'll see how it goes. In my turn, I push forward as so. I decide not to take my Centaurs with my BSB up on the left flank because they can't take anything over there. I think the even if I plow into the Seekers with my Centaur block, I think he still wins very easily. So I just decided not to do it. Notice both of us have this really, I forgot that there was this one beer they were selling there that was like super high alcohol content, but it didn't taste like it. And we were both drinking a glass of it, and it was really, really good.
So the tactics will improve over the course of the battle.
Exactly. I may say push up. It's nothing too exciting. In his, okay, so there's a jump here. I neglected to take a picture of his phase because yeah. He doesn't move very much. He kind of pushes forward on the left here. and he just sets up and he shoots me first round, and he has a fairly unsuccessful shooting phase. You notice there are
5 of those.
Yeah, 5. Like some of my wild horns are gone. Nothing. He didn't do very much, which was awesome. And then this is my turn too. I continue to move forward. I realize these guys are coming around my left flank, so I kind of hold the left flank with this wild horn unit, and I push.
You want that wild horn seeker fight, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's my best option.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I kind of pin in this unit because I think these guys, the gargoyles that are down to 2 guys fled. I can't remember. And I push forward on the rest. On the far right, on this giant, you see on the giant here, if I ran him straight forward in turn 2, I got out of his Kingsguard block. So all he's facing is the Forge Wardens. And I think their shooting is only strength 3. So I'm not too worried about him shooting him off the board. And then if I get into combat, I'm stomping all over him. I felt really good about this decision to shove my giant in front of the Forge Wardens. And then you can barely see over the impassable here. That's where my smaller unit of centaurs are, and they were just going ballista hunting. That's what they were doing.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. Again, I think I forgot to take a picture of his turn. He, with his seekers, he charges the gargoyles off and then fails charge to where he is there. He throws one of his shooting units in front of my giant for chaff, and he does chaff my what am I trying to think of? My minotaurs with that unit. In his shooting phase again, he does nothing much all over the board, but in the giant that was sitting in front of Forge Worms, he does 6 wounds. I have 1 wound left. See the little 1 next.
Like it looks like you're in combat.
Yeah. This is bottom of 3 picture. I didn't take a top of 3 pictures. My bad. So bottom of 3, I decide to take the charge with the wild horns here on the left into his seeker block with his dragon, his big guy. I decide, even though I have 1 wound left, I go into the Forge Wardens with my giant.
Yep.
I'm not. It was a risky move, but I did.
Beforehand? Maybe.
Yes, I do.
Maybe you're just hoping to smash it. But are these the uprooted tree ones?
Yeah. So I auto hit, but AP 0. But they're AP. But he's AP 1 on the charge for the devastating charge. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then in the center, I take the chaff. I charge in with both, I believe, both units here, and hopefully trying to overrun into his Kingsguard, because there's no character in that Kingsguard. My minotaurs are just ripped through it.
Yeah, because he strikes last. You should just smoke. Yeah.
Then this is what, top of 4 now? This is bottom of 4. So some things have happened. So as you see here, I went into the Seekers, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I kill the unit out, the actual Seeker character is not unbreakable.
No, I think the Seeker rule is unbreakable.
Yeah, Seeker. Okay. So I remember this now. I throw everything into this unit. I think I got Blooded Horn Totem up on them. I blast through. There we go. I blast through the unit, and I do one less wound than I need to kill the whole unit.
Oh, okay.
I thought I had him. I was strength 4 with a bajillion attacks, re-rolling to hit. That's what I was like, I'm gonna go through him. I do enough, or I don't do the last wound, which would have broken the unit and then prevented what happened to me, is his character unit charges my flank because I'm stuck there. So not really good. In the previous combat here, I overran with the giant. I think I made it into his Kingsguard, but the Minotaurs didn't. I think that was what happened. And then the giant, he takes off the last wound on the giant that went in the Forge Wardens. He reforms and charges into my gargoyles that were behind him. I feel like the Giants have been letting me down all tournament. I feel like I'm making the right decisions with the Giants, but they just don't work out for me. But tell me if I'm wrong. There's been some discussion. There's been some discussions about my use of Giants.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's been some discussions about my Giants in the comments, and our commenters might be right. Ugh. So yeah, this happens. I feel like at this point I'm thinking like, oh, I'm really not in a good spot. After that, you see a lot of stuff disappears. So he breaks that Wildhorn unit, and they flee off the board. And the way he was slightly angled. Oh no. Yeah. I'm sorry. They flee to here. I'm sorry. These guys. That's all that's left. But the way that was angled, since that one guy with the one wound was in the front of me, he could cause me to flee directly back, which then caused this unit that was my flank right here to get an overrun into the front of this unit.
You couldn't kill off that Seeker Lord?
Even after the second round, I couldn't do it. It was pretty disappointing because after that, I only get the +1 strength for one round of combat, and then after that, it's only strength 3. The Wildhorns are only strength 3. The Kingsguard obviously kill my giant, but I take out 5 of them, and and then he takes the charge into my Minotaurs. And then I take the Forge Wardens kill my gargoyles, and I take the charge with the centaurs into them. Oh, what was going on here? So in order to combat this unit, I throw Awaken the Beast and Blood and Horn on this Wildhorn unit, which is pretty solid. I think I can still beat this unit.
They're just core dwarves, and you have paired weapons, right? So
yeah,
that's a pretty good combo because you go through their armor, you wound on 3s. Yeah, pretty good.
But what happens is I don't. They break. I can't remember the details, but it was embarrassing for me, and I ran away. Then my Minotaurs killed the Kingsguard out, completely demolished the Kingsguard, turned to face, and then since he overran in my turn, caused him the break, he chose not to pursue, turned, and then charged into my Minotaurs. Ugh, it was bad. I killed his Forge Wardens in the top right, though, which was nice. I think that's basically...
Are your two units scoring? The both centaur units?
Yes. No, this one's not. The one with the BSB is not, but the other one is, so I got one unit in. And I think he got...
push it back.
And I think he got one unit in also on the bottom left here.
Gotta be the first time the Beast Birds didn't beat dwarves at Breakthrough.
Yeah, I know. I think it ends up with a 5 to me. Beat me on points, and we tied secondary. Wasn't a good way to end my tournament, but it's always fun to play against Ben, so I guess I can't really complain. What did you think about my tactics? It really comes down to deployment, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you dropped it first though, so he could counter deploy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Just trying to think. There's the positioning of those impassables in that hill really.
Yeah, it's rough.
Really kind of messed it up a little bit. Yeah. I wonder. I mean, his shooting didn't end up doing that much to you, but I wonder if I would have tried to use that wall to kind of ablate, to mitigate his shooting a little bit in the early turns. It didn't end up actually doing that much, but like you're facing 20 crossbows, 10 handguns, 2 forge repeaters, all the war machines. It could have helped. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, I think I guess clustering around that smaller impassable is probably the better use. This is a great example of we're losing the right to choose sides in circle, and then also exacerbated by those 2 impassables. Like, that's just a brutal combination.
Yeah. It was a tough deployment for me. I was afraid what I really wanted to do was go on the far left, but I was afraid he was going to castle on the far right if I did that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of bad luck to not take out the Seekers in 2 turns. Were you, do you mind kind of going forward to that point where you didn't go through the Seekers?
That was when I charged in. That was after.
So, yeah, I guess there wasn't anything you could do to kind of mitigate that, like make that distance a little bit further for him on the charge. And you had no chaff left at that point.
Yeah, I went in.
Like, this would have been, so he charged your gargoyles off, and you have nothing. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. True. Yeah, this was the big mistake. I think I shouldn't have charged in there, or at least waited for him to charge me and like stay backed up a little bit. But I was trying to push in the center, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, the fact, it actually ends up being a huge deal. Like, looking at this now, it ends up being kind of a huge deal that that he had that Seeker alive, right? Because if not, then his big block couldn't have gone into you, and then you could have just marched up, tapped them, and been, able to start picking up all the soft points in the back, and also likely won the objective at that point, right?
That's exactly, yeah. This combat, and then him overrunning into my center unit with his warrior block just really killed me.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I would have expected 2 rounds from that Wildhorn unit to obliterate those Seekers. I think, like, that looked like a favorable comeback to you, but yeah, the downside was massive, obviously. I think maybe I don't know. Have you run the math? Like, can you fight that main block usually, like in a head-to-head?
I think the Wildhorn block, what I got was a favorable matchup. The Wildhorn block with these 2 buffs, I think is a good fight for me. But also the way the overrun worked, like he couldn't maximize, so I was stuck with only 5 guys in base. I think that hurt me because I lost basically 2 rows of attacks.
Like, if there's a combat that you can't win, then I think using the gargoyles to go after the war machines is not like, not their best use, right?
Yeah, the gargoyles on the far right wasn't the best move. Yeah.
See, especially because they can kind of accomplish the same thing sort of centrally. If there's an opportunity to leap over and threaten, they can still do it, but then also still be ready for chaff. But that's a pretty small piece of feedback. Otherwise it looks like you got the combats you won and they just didn't go your way, essentially.
Yeah. And I just want to point out, remember the last time I played Ben? He was playing Dread Elves, and I double charged giants into his naked Dread Elf spears, and I bounced. Still bitter about that. I'm still bitter. But anyway, Ben's might be my kryptonite, but it was a good game. It was a great tournament overall. Big kudos to the guys running Silicon Hammer. yeah, that's the tournament. Thank you guys for joining us. I think the next battle reports we'll probably be doing will be my tournament in Nashville. I went to NashCon, so I've got 5 games lined up for them, and then who knows what happens next. But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.